it be an evening star shines down upon you.
Hello everyone again, Patient Stew, and it's day 3 of me being out of the facility, and well, things are going quite well, to tell you the truth. Excuse me. There's been some hiccups, yes, but there's been some wins as well. So I'll walk you through it. Sunday morning I got out, and that was about 7:30 in the morning. So by 8 o'clock I'd been dropped off here at my flat. Immediately set about unpacking everything, washing the dirty stuff, did the dishes, etc, 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 so I could cook. Then the very, very first thing on the agenda, a motorbike ride. Yes, so I donned up all my gear. So yeah, it was the full Monty, not just the little bit if I wanted to go for a ride around town. And while I did go for a ride around town, this was also, I shot out to Glen Helen. For those that don't know where, no, it wasn't Glen Helen, it was Stanley Chasm. My bad. For those that know where Stanley Chasm is, it's about 65-ish kilometres west of Alice Springs, along the McDonnell Ranges. Lovely road. Get out to Stanley Chasm, there's a lovely little kiosk out there. Normally my riding mates, if they were coming along, we would sit out there and have coffee and lunch and shoot the breeze and talk for, an hour or two about anything and everything, usually motorcycles, and then return home. So the old girl hadn't been started for nearly 12 days, 13 days. So she fired first pop, what else? Kawasaki engineering, and went for a blast, and then came back, and I decided I had to pay something forward. So I actually blogged about this earlier while I was still inside, that I had the intention of just rounding out that kitchen a little bit with utensils, because I'm not a chef, don't ever profess to be, and I don't even profess to be any good, but I like cooking. And if you like something, do it, because it brings happiness to yourself, and sometimes, just like cooking, it can bring happiness to other people. So there was so much utensils out there that were missing. A decent chopping board, a decent frying pan. I think I've listed this all before. But anyway, I went to Kmart first, thinking, oh God, they're going to have everything I want. No. Kmart's kitchenware selection was as bad as Wargaming's free-to-purchase product. Yeah. So Coles it was. Coles had everything. Fuck 'em. So tank bag later and a backpack full of crap later. Went out to IWAS, and yeah, wasn't exactly obeying the speed limit, was I? Front tank bag had a habit 2 or 3 times on bounces in the road to leave the tank and float, and then want to come back down again. So at speed, and I'm not talking 130 here like I'm meant to have been doing. I just hope there's no police officers watching this. Yeah, had to stop, fix it up again, take off. Almost missed the turn off too, because the thing's so badly signaged. But anyway, got out there on the pretense that I had left and forgotten my phone charger, because I didn't think the staff would let me in if I just said, oh, I'm randomly turning up as Father Christmas was presents. So they let me in, and I quickly let them know why I was there. Pulled out all the presents, and it was my way of saying thank you to everyone out there, first and foremost. Secondly, it's a way of paying it forward. And thirdly, for those little budding chefs that pop out there and have their stay out there a little bit later on, some of the things that are sharp you've got to ask for, but they are there. So, steak knives, chopping board knife, grater, they're all there. You've just got to ask because, self-harmer, etc. You're not allowed to have those sort of sharp objects just sitting in the kitchen drawer waiting to be used. So if you do stay out there and there is something that you think is missing, just ask the staff, because I can almost guarantee you it's been bought and then they've just got it locked away. So that was Sunday. And please excuse me if I keep coughing. Sunday evening I buried myself into starting these vlogs, and they do take time to shoot and produce. Now, with all the ones that I'd done already out at IWAS, they've been shot obviously, but they require time to edit. And once you get the formula down, it's faster and faster to edit. But 20, 30 minutes to edit, because you've got to watch it and comment through it. And then you've got to upload it, and God, there's 2.5 hours to upload to YouTube in 4K. And then probably another 2 or 3 hours for the HD to render and on YouTube itself. So, there's a good 4 or 5 hours between start to finish for each episode. So it's been taking time, and I haven't been on World of Warships or World of Tanks yet, despite the fact it's been 3 days, and being a gamer, it was killing me for the 12 days that I was away, 9 of it inside IWAS, 3 of it in the hospital, that I was away from my gaming circle. And it's put it this way, it's not because I don't want a game. I'm just prioritizing these videos because, the staff really wanted them, and knowing me, I'll get slack, and if I don't do it for a week, it might never happen. So I'm just grasping the bull's horns while, the iron's hot, if you want to whack two metaphors together, and I'm doing it. So the first real day, I'm not going to even count Sunday because it was just a 2-hour long ride, a spin out to IWAS, and then lock myself inside and start doing vlogs. Monday, I had an appointment with ADSCA, which is the detox people in Alice Springs first, and I saw one of the counsellors. Then it was off to my GP. First, where there was a gap between ADSCA and my GP, so I decided to stop in at Sushi Train, a new sushi shop in Alice Springs, and everyone's been raving about it. Now, I'm not a big sushi fan, however, I've been told they do more than just sushi, right? And they do. And there was some fried chicken done in a, it's not like Chinese honey chicken or lemon chicken or anything like that. This is a completely different type of fried chicken, and I must have had 3 plates of that. And then there was some fried prawns wrapped to balls of rice that were dipped in soy sauce. Oh God, I was sitting there going nom nom nom. Still couldn't feel myself, so I thought. Then there was oh God, what was it? It was kiwi fruit, I think. It was either kiwi fruit or no, it was avocado. It was avocado cheesecake. Yes, it sounds rather dodgy, doesn't it? Avocado cheesecake. It was green, and it was only about that long and a wedge like this. So it's not incredibly large, but I gave it a go, and was I rewarded? Oh, was I rewarded? Yum. And I was actually sitting right now, unbeknownst to me, because I've got blinkers on usually, and I pay no attention to what's going on around me. There was a friend of mine that was sitting right next to me, and she had helped me at the hospital, and I couldn't believe that I'd sat there and ate all of this food, oblivious to the fact that she was sitting right next to me. And she said, goodbye, Stuart, as she got up and went. I turned around and went, oh my God, you were sitting there for what, 20, 30 minutes while I was gnawing through this food, and I had no idea. I totally apologise. So if you're watching, that's all my bad, because you knew I was there. Yeah, Stuart, you're a bad person. Anyway, went to my GP, had a big discussion about where I'd gotten up to. So she took nearly 20 minutes to read my notes before I even went in, because she had a lot of notes to pour through from the doctors as they had seen me while I was out at detox slash mental health at IWAS. We broached a few things, and the main one was my return to work and how I felt about that. And I made it pretty clear that I discussed this with the doctors while I was out at IWAS, that I have a big feeling that work is playing at least 50% of a role because of the stress and pressure that I'm under. It played that much of a role in my fall from grace, should I say, my use of alcohol as a crutch, and my suicide attempts, and my consequence of being out there in rehab. I was due to go back to work in 2 days' time then. Now that would have been today. But she felt that I was nowhere near ready, and I've got more mental health appointments on Friday. I've got another appointment with my GP back on Monday. You know, making sure that, one, the medications that I'm on are doing their job. Two, I'm not thinking about suicide. Three, my detox is going okay. All of that is what we talked about. It came out as a good, positive thing. My doctor at Moore Medical is awesome, and I'm not going to name her, but she knows who she is. So, you know, don't be afraid to reach out to your GP, because if you've been and seen your GP at least a couple of times, they will have a bit of an understanding of you, and believe me, they do care. It might seem like they practice 10-minute medicine, but when push comes to shove and the shit hits the fan, they're there for you, and mine has been, and I can't praise her enough. Anyway, this is sort of where everything went to poo. I went to my work, handed in my 6 certificate, ended up having a long chat with the retail bosses there, to the point where retail had closed and I couldn't sneak out through retail because I didn't really want to go out through delivery and run the gauntlet of all the workers wondering why I've been away for so long, because I'm not, well, I might be doing these VV blogs, but sort of terribly sorry again, not everyone in my life is going to see these straight away, so I didn't really want to be put in this position where I'd have to tell them. So I snuck out through the parcel hatch area, and I ran into one of my workers who's a top bloke, and he knows my daughter and through a social circle, so he sort of knew something was going on, and he asked me how I was, and I said, I'm getting better, but I am not 100% yet. And he went, that's fine. And I said, you'll see me in a couple of weeks. And then just before I snuck out the door, so no one else saw me, he said, oh, by the way, Stuart, I've had customers asking for you. And I went, is it good or is it bad? I mean, is it, complaints I'm following up with or what? And he said, no. I've just had so many people saying, we haven't seen Stuart around lately. Has he retired? Is he ill? Is he on sick leave? Has he, left Australia Post? Has he quit? What's going on? And I went, really? Oh, well, that was kind of humbling. I mean, you don't hear any praise when you're at work. It's just all bad, run down. Your business sucks, rah, 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 rah. That's all you hear. It's depressing as fuck. And it's just nice to know that when that one time you're not there, it's noticed. Oh, that made me chuckle. It was quite funny. It was nice. It was a nice chuckle. I mean, you don't get told often or ever really at work that you've done a good job or that your presence is missed or, people are worried about you because they haven't seen you for a little while. So, yeah, that was a good one. So anyway, I went and put my scripts in for my naltrexone and my thiamine. Then decided I'd go and do some shopping at Woolies because I've just got a hankering now for healthy food, having been out at IWAS. So, I was going to buy up on bread for toast and jam and bananas and strawberries and yogurt, and I ended up buying so much that I really should have brought a tank bag as well because my backpack was chockers. But as I was walking into Woolies from Alice Springs Pharmacy, I had to pass BWS. And I looked at it and went, And the wasn't because, oh God, I'd love a beer right now. It was, it's been a week since I put in for the BDR. I wonder if it's ticked over yet. So there were 3 police officers on the door. One was a sergeant. I walked straight up to him because, go to the top. Don't start at the bottom. Go straight to the top. Walked up to him and said, I'm going to be your strangest customer of the day. I'm 24 hours out of detox. I am trying to give up alcohol. I have voluntarily put myself on the BDR, and I was promised that would have kicked in last Friday. Can you just tell me if I'm on it? Gave him my license, and he's just tapped away on his little iPad thingy, boom, 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 boom. And after a few seconds said, doesn't seem to be coming up at all. And I went, oh. He goes, oh, look, hold a sec. For your permission, I'll just go and put it on the scanner on the terminal. We'll check there. That'll give it a definitive answer whether you're on the BDR or not. I went, cool. A minute later, he comes back and says, all green. You're not on the BDR. And I went, what? I said, you mean I could walk in there right now and purchase alcohol? And he said, well, yeah, but nah, because after what you've told me, I would not let you enter. But then he also said, realistically, you're free to go to any of the other 40 plus takeaway outlets in town and buy alcohol. That was my first test. Now, I had a full backpack of groceries, so I had no ability to carry anything else. So that alone was a bit of a saving grace right there. So to go and do anything, I would have had to gone home, emptied my backpack, and gone back out again. So that's a pain in the ass, to tell you the truth. And secondly, I quickly thought about all of the progress I'd made up until now, and that if I regressed, I'd be throwing all of that away. And the third thing that went through my mind is I'm on naltrexone. Naltrexone does a couple of things to your body, and the first is it suppresses cravings. Secondly, it makes alcohol taste funny, so you don't enjoy it. You don't enjoy the taste. And thirdly, it suppresses the alcohol's sort of the effect that it has on you. So I've been told you basically need to drink a bit more to get the same effect, but it's also going to taste weird or off, and and the craving for it isn't really going to be as bad. And to tell you the truth, I didn't have a real craving, and put the other two together, I was drinking 12 to 18 beers if I wasn't working the next day. And then if I thought, I've got to drink a whole carton to get shit-faced, nah, fuck that. And it's going to taste bad every time I have one? Nah, fuck that. So I went home, and the first thing I did, I regress. I said to the police officer, how can I fix this? And he said, well, the BDR's an office, basically it's bureaucracy, they're closed. The best thing you can do is go to the cop shop, tell them what you've told me, and they'll put you on a temporary 24-hour suspension. So I go to the cop shop, tell the guy my story, and I think he might have thought I was joking at the start, and I had to reiterate, no, mate, I'm fresh out of detox. I've been locked away for 9 days, going through detox on purpose, and I strictly wanted to be on the BDR before I was released, and I did this a week ago, so there's been umpteen days of free extra time where this should have worked, but it hasn't. And it turns out that it's understaffing inside the BDR office. There's obviously a mountain of paperwork in the in tray, like the in tray is like this instead of like this, and no one's really getting through the application. So I was like, fuck, so, the BDR is just like my work, people leave or people are sick and no one replaces them. Just crack the whip and make the other 3 people do the work of the 9 that are missing. Yay! So I didn't feel bad about the people at the BDR for not getting it done, and it was just, you're short-staffed, the whole world's short-staffed at the moment, so the whole world should be appreciative of those that are turning up. So anyway, he puts out like an APB basically on my license, so that if I go to any establishment that has the scanning equipment for the BDR, which they all have to, it doesn't come up on my license that I'm on the BDR, but it does come up for 24 hours that the police have requested that I am not served. It's a stopgap measure. And, it was a good stopgap measure. I mean, I knew then that until 7 o'clock last night, I couldn't purchase any alcohol. And it was great. What it did mean, though, was an angry phone call to IWAS when I got home at about 7:30, and I spoke to the lovely gentleman out there, you know who you are, told him my problem, and he said, don't worry, Stuart, I'll be on it. I'll be all over it, and I'll call you back in the morning. And he did. It wasn't the morning, it was about 2 or 3 in the arvo, but he did get back to me, and he did say that I was on the banned drinkers register, which was a bonus. So yesterday I had a follow-up appointment at ADSCA, and this was all about post, how do you call it, post being inside a facility and how to deal with cravings. So it was okay, now you're out, you're not locked away anymore, yes, you're on the BDR, but how do you start dealing with triggers, cravings, social circles where alcohol is going to be involved? How do you say no? And that went for a good hour. Yeah, well, a good hour. And there was a few things in there that I took away. Well, meditation is one. So there was a meditation exercise which we did, was called the leaf and the river. The leaf and the stream, leaf and the river. Anyway, if anyone practices meditation and knows anything about it and what it can do, believe me, after I'd finished that, because he put me in a stressful situation and then said, do this exercise. And I was relaxed, I wasn't tense, I wasn't triggered. And if that was an alcoholic beverage right in front of me, I could have said no. It was good. So I'm learning these strategies now, and this is what I'm going to learn over the coming weeks before I go back to work. And the next one on Friday is dealing with stress predominantly at work, so that when I come home stressed out after a bad day, and every single bad day at my work's a bad day, and you're just stressing about also the next day, because the next day is just going to be another clusterfuck after today's clusterfuck. How to deal with that and how not to use alcohol as the crutch for that. So yeah, that was a great progression. And then, after that, I came home, I started bashing away at these videos, getting them processed, getting them up on my channel. The first 5 have just gone live overnight, so there are now videos up on my channel, and I've sort of stuck a few links out to people and whatnot to look at. So, you know, if excuse me again, if anyone wants to know the path of someone that has bottled everything up inside, not told anyone about their problem, thought that they can deal with it themselves under a very stressful environment at work, closed themselves off from everybody they know and withdrawn into themselves and become an isolationist, basically. If that sounds like you and you want to know how you can move forward out of it, watch this video, and I strongly recommend the first step is your GP, and the GP will push you in the right direction. In different states it's going to be different. In the Territory we're blessed where the facility I went to was free. It's government funded. Yes, it only has a small number of beds. It's only got 7, and the mental health facility beside it's got 7 as well. But it's fully government funded and an absolute blessing. So if you're in the NT, grab it with both hands. It was explained to me that if I was interstate, say in Sydney, New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, anywhere like that, that could have been up to a $10,000 stay with a 2 to 3 month waiting list. So if you're interstate in Australia and watching this, just be aware it may not have been plain sailing as it was for me, because the government funding isn't quite there, and it should be. So maybe that's something that if you're watching this and you're just watching this for educational purposes, but you've got some oomph where maybe you can push the government to say we need to start funding these sort of facilities where people don't have to mortgage their houses to go and do it. Please go out and do that sort of thing. Now, if you can write letters to your local member, I know local members don't do shit. They're there just for the pay packet. They don't give a fuck about us. But sometimes you find that rare one who might push the agenda and get something like this up and running, if not for free, at least at a drastically reduced cost. Because when I was told 10 grand for a 9 to 10 day detox stay, I mean, if I had to pay that, I couldn't afford that. I would have had to have taken out a loan. And I'd be paying that off for the better part of 6 to 12 months. So, when there's so many people going through this sort of problem, no wonder suicide's going through the roof with lockdowns, with this stupid COVID crap about how the government goes on that we've got to lock everything down. Big business can stay open, but all the small businesses must close, which kills them and everyone loses their livelihood. No wonder suicide rate is skyrocketing. I mean, deaths by suicide is outstripping deaths by COVID in the country by at least double. No one says anything about it. The numbers are there. Just go find them on the government's websites. Not hard to find. So, I've rambled too long. Just know that now that 3 days in, my mission for today is, because I've got no more appointments to go and see, is I'm going to try and get through the last 3 days of my vlogs out at IWAS. I'm going to try and get this one up as well. So hopefully by tomorrow a lot of these will all be up on my channel. If you can find it in your heart to donate to IWAS here in Alice Springs in Northern Territory, I'll put a blog to it. Thank you very much.